You already know that thousands of species have disappeared from this planet. But most extinctions happened long before cameras were invented. We only know them through fossils or drawings made by explorers. Everything changed in the 1800s when photography was born. For the first time, we could capture creatures just before they vanished. In today's video, I'm going to show you the last known photos of 7 animals that disappeared forever. Number 7. Tasmanian tiger. The thylacine, better known as the Tasmanian tiger, wasn't a tiger at all. It was a carnivorous marsupial that carried its young in a pouch. Imagine a dog-sized predator with dark stripes across its back and a stiff tail like a kangaroo. It once roamed mainland Australia and the island of Tasmania. On the mainland, it vanished 3,000 years ago after humans introduced dingoes. The dingoes outcompeted them for food and pushed them to extinction there. But in Tasmania, thylacines survived longer. Settlers believed they killed sheep, so the government offered bounties. From 1888 to 1909, hunters were paid for every kill. £1 for an adult, half a pound for a pup. Around 2,000 animals were slaughtered. By the early 20th century, their numbers had collapsed. Eventually, only a single female remained. She spent her final days in Hobart Zoo, dying on September 7, 1936. The haunting final photo shows this exhausted animal pacing behind bars, captured shortly before her death. A chilling reminder of how fast humans can erase an entire species. Number 6. Caribbean monk seal. The Caribbean monk seal was the only seal native to the Gulf of Mexico. Long ago, it was common across the region. Seals gathered in groups of about 30, but sometimes over 100 crowded together. They ate fish and crustaceans. On land, they moved slowly but didn't fear people. Often they approached out of curiosity. That curiosity became their weakness. Hunters found them easy targets. Overfishing their prey made food scarce, weakening the seals further. People wanted their blubber because it could be turned into oil. They also hunted them for meat. By the 1850s, the Caribbean monk seal had already become rare. In 1886, a survey found many seals near small islands, but scientists killed 42 just to send specimens to museums. Today, only 2 of those specimens remain, both in the UK. One of the last photos shows 4 monk seals at the New York Aquarium. In 1952, a final confirmed sighting happened off Colombia's coast. Since then, no one has ever seen a Caribbean monk seal again. Number 5. Golden toad. First, don't mistake golden toads for frogs. They're both amphibians, but very different creatures. These small, bright orange toads lived in just one tiny patch of rainforest high in Costa Rica's mountains. For years, they thrived. Every mating season, hundreds gathered in one place, a vibrant explosion of color on the forest floor. But that crowd didn't last. In 1987, scientists found many golden toads, healthy and active. Just 1 year later, only about 10 or 11 were left. By 1989, all were gone except for a single lonely male. After that, despite years of searching, not a single golden toad was ever seen again. In 2004, they were officially declared extinct. So, what happened? 2 forces hit them at once. A severe drought struck their rainforest home. But something worse followed. Chytrid fungus. This deadly disease thickened their skin, blocking their ability to breathe. Since amphibians rely on their skin to absorb oxygen, it was a silent killer. Even today, chytrid fungus still threatens amphibians around the world. The picture you're seeing shows one of the final healthy gatherings of golden toads, a snapshot of life just before it disappeared forever. Number 4. Quagga. At first glance, this animal looked like a strange mix, part zebra, but part plain horse. Its stripes covered only the front half of its body, then faded into solid brown on the back, its belly and legs pure white. This wasn't just any zebra. The quagga was a unique subspecies, living only in southern Africa's dry grasslands and scrublands. But peace between the Dutch and British in the 1800s didn't mean peace for the quagga. Settlers believed these animals were plentiful, but they were wrong. Hunting exploded. By 1878, just 1 quagga remained in captivity, a lonely female at the Amsterdam Zoo. When she died in 1883, no one panicked. The zoo simply requested another quagga be captured. But the truth was far darker. The last wild quagga had disappeared 5 years earlier. Without warning, this odd zebra slipped into extinction while the world barely noticed. Today, scientists are working to bring the quagga back, but back then, it was gone forever. Number 3. Passenger pigeon. Imagine looking up and seeing the sky go dark, not because of clouds, but because of birds. Passenger pigeons once filled the skies of North America in huge numbers. A single flock could take hours to pass. There were billions of them, but this flood of wings didn't last. European settlers cut down the forests where the pigeons lived. Survival became harder. When people learned these birds were an easy, endless source of meat, hunting became ruthless. Passenger pigeons became food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Their numbers dropped fast. What once seemed endless was gone in just a few decades. By 1914, only one was left, a female named Martha. She lived at the Cincinnati Zoo. When Martha died, so did her kind. The last known photograph shows her alone in her cage, wings folded, staring through the bars. Passenger pigeons were more than birds. They were like a living flood that shaped nature itself, but careless human actions erased them forever. Number 2. Barbary lion. It once ruled the Atlas Mountains of North Africa. Unlike today's African lions, which have manes only around their heads, Barbary lions had dark, thick manes that stretched from head to toe. Their thick fur wasn't just for show, it helped them survive the cold mountain air. But their appearance wasn't what made them legendary. For thousands of years, these lions lived near some of history's most powerful civilizations. They fought in Roman arenas. They inspired the fierce Egyptian goddess Sekhmet. It's no surprise that humans feared them deeply. Killing a Barbary lion wasn't just hunting. It was a symbol of strength and bravery. People hunted them fast, chasing glory while driving this subspecies closer to extinction. By the 20th century, the Barbary lion was almost gone. The spread of firearms and government bounties sealed their fate. The last known lion was shot in the 1960s. But here's where it gets interesting. In 1942, 2 years after the species was officially declared extinct, a French military photographer named Marcelin Flandrin spotted a lone Barbary lion from a helicopter over the Atlas Mountains. He quickly raised his camera and captured what many believe is the final photo of this majestic beast. The image remains haunting and beautiful, a symbol of what we lost. Number 1. Carolina parakeet. This was one of the most striking birds ever to live in North America. It wasn't just colorful, it was the only native parrot on the continent's plains, even wandering into southern Canada at times. These birds were once everywhere. They traveled in noisy, playful flocks that filled the forests of the southeastern United States. But what they ate made them unusual: cocklebur seeds. These seeds are poisonous. After eating them, the parakeets themselves became toxic. Any predator, even a hungry house cat, could die just from eating one. But this natural defense didn't protect them from humans. In the early 1900s, people in the US fell in love with fashion made from animal feathers. A particular hat decorated with parakeet feathers became wildly popular. Hunters began targeting them in large numbers. Their feathers flooded markets. Farmers saw them as pests, too. These bright parrots raided crops in search of seeds, but found themselves killed for it. The real mystery? In 1896, a healthy flock was still nesting and raising young. Yet by 1904, they had almost completely disappeared. How could millions vanish so fast? This photo shows the very last Carolina parakeet, a bird named Incas. Shockingly, Incas was kept in the same cage as Martha, the last passenger pigeon. Incas died in 1918, only 4 years after Martha. One bright bird, once everywhere, gone forever. These photographs are all that remain, final proof that beauty can vanish in a single lifetime. Every image is a warning about what happens when we fail to protect the creatures around us. If you enjoyed this video, check out this next one and subscribe if you don't want to miss what's coming.